Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome to this podcast. When was there a time you paused to check in both your mind and your body, and did you notice if one was affecting the other? Well, today's guest is Amy, someone who's turned her lifelong journey with chronic illness into a mission to help others thrive. Through her own healing, Amy discovered the deep connection between our inner and outer worlds, and now empowers people to find their own unique path to holistic health, purpose, and peace. Amy, welcome to the show today.
Thanks, Justin. I'm so excited to be here.
We are glad to have you here. We'd like to know if you could take us back to a moment where you realized your healing journey was more about just your physical health. Like what shifted and what guided you towards holistic health?
Powerful question. Thank you so much. So I was in my early 20s when I had this kind of moment of, okay, where everything I've been doing in my late teens and into my 20s has helped but not fixed. It's eased a little bit of pain, but I'm still having so many symptoms and so many problems. And so I started expanding my kind of repertoire with healthcare professionals. I was like, oh, let's go try this cranial sacral therapy. Let's go get some acupuncture. Let's go try this naturopath. And I found an incredible naturopathic doctor actually that started bridging the gaps for me. He was like, okay, now I know people typically just talk to you about your female health. They're like, well, what about your gut? What about your liver? What about your stress? And I was like, okay, love that. So we started looking at my body as a whole. And my background in anatomy and physiology as well helped come together in that. And so we started just looking at my body as a whole, how everything works together as a community. And once that was going really well, I had someone tell me, well, what about your external environment? What about the things that are causing your stress? What about the products you're using? What about all sorts of things? And so then we started addressing that and cleaning up my environment and helping, like, getting rid of anything that would disrupt my hormones any further. And then I got to expand even more. Okay, well, now we're really focused on stress. Well, stress is an internal and an external game. And so, yes, being aware of what your stressors are externally, but then how you deal with them internally was really powerful. And so, through all of that, I was able to heal from a condition I was told I would never be pain free from. So, it was a journey for sure. And it's one that I still have to be aware of every day, but the work was worth it.
Hell yeah. And it's definitely a journey trying to get our bodies and minds right. A lot of us don't understand that that's something we have to actually work on. It doesn't just naturally happen.
That's right.
Because I'm actually on that journey myself to kind of understand how those, like you were saying, those external factors are playing a part. Can you explain maybe what some of those external factors were for you that we could look for ourselves?
Sure. Would you like an example of an ingredient that's going to affect your body, or would you like more of like a person's, places, things, and ideas?
Maybe one of both. Yes, I'm
Okay.
intrigued.
Let's
Yeah.
go broad with hormonal disruptors. So the average
Okay.
woman with her morning routine, the average woman puts anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 endocrine disruptors on her body with lotions, shampoos, conditioners, makeup, skincare, all sorts of things. And men, and you guys seem to have a little less in your routines, but you still use the body washes, the deodorants, toothpaste, certain things, right? And what is hidden in a lot of these products are called endocrine disrupting chemicals. And what they do in our body is they come in through our skin. I know we like to think of our skin as a protector, which it is, but it's also our biggest absorption organ. And so it comes right in. And so, say on a regular Monday afternoon, like today, my body decides, hey, I need a little more estrogen to feel like I can be in homeostasis. And homeostasis is our personalized version of balance within our body. So then a signal would get sent into my body, hey, produce some estrogen. My body would be like, oh, I got some of that. We're going to bring some estrogen down and it's going to bind to the cell that needed estrogen to make it a happy, whole little cell. But what happens is if, say, I put lotion on my body and it has an endocrine disruptor in it that mimics estrogen, that is going to find this cell and bind with it. And then my body's not going to send the signal that I need more natural estrogen. It's going to think it's okay for a little while and it's going to disrupt the whole system. And so being
That sounds
aware
dangerous.
it is. So for men, it's really dangerous for your testosterone and other hormones. For women, it's really dangerous for our
Yeah.
progesterone and our estrogen, which are super important for us. And so detoxing my environment of all that helped so much. Now, for let's say persons, places, things, and ideas, anything that is causing you a lot of stress, let's do relationships. If you're in a very stressful relationship, whether it be with your partner, maybe not so good friend, maybe it's with your parents, it affects you more than I think we ever understand on a physical level. Our
I feel
physical
that.
health gets completely thrown off when we're in stress. Not only, let's say we have a moment of anger. A moment of anger can weaken our immune system for up to 24 hours. Just a moment. And so if you're
What? Get
living
out of
in a
here.
yeah, if you're living in a state of anger, that alone can throw off your whole hormonal and stressful and immune
I can
state.
feel that one. Yeah.
And if you're living in constant stress, I talk about stress a lot because it's a big one. Stress, our bodies are meant to have a stress response. Justin, if you and I are walking through the woods and a bear comes out, you and I better get stressed out and have that fight or flight response so we can run. Depending on the bear, there's certain bears you run and certain bears you don't. So, like, don't take me literally on this
They
one.
can climb trees. They can get you.
They can get you. So, this is a hypothetical scenario.
Okay, that thanks for refreshing me that. I was really thinking about it for a second. Okay.
So you and I are running from this bear. When we get to safety, our adrenaline, our fight or flight response needs to come down so we know we can relax and feel safe again. But we are constantly living in states of fight or flight these days. We are in a
That's so true.
we're accepting of a certain level of stress as being okay. And what that does is it doesn't allow our bodies to go through the ebbs and flows of when stress hormones are needed and when they're not. And so if we're living in a constant state of stress, our bodies don't produce enough cortisol, is your stress hormone, to keep you there. So what it'll do, especially in women, it'll say, "Hey, I need more cortisol to stay in this stress response. So I'm going to go take from her progesterone because I can turn progesterone into more cortisol to keep me stressed." And then her progesterone tanks, so she becomes even more internally imbalanced, especially emotionally, which causes more stress. It's like the chicken and the egg at this point. Oh,
This is
stress is
stressing me
so
out a little bit.
more, right? It's so much more than just feeling frustrated. It can affect your whole holistic being. So, assessing the person's places, things, and ideas, assessing our environment, and then being really aware of what we need internally is going to help you have a more holistic, healthy life.
I feel like we as people nowadays, we're so used to the stress and the levels that we're living at. We just look at it as so normalized that we don't understand that there's a better way to live outside of what we've normalized already. And
Mhm.
it's just like, oh, this is normal. This is fine. I'm okay until you're not.
That's right.
And it's crazy to be
And
living
we
like
do
that.
this to compare to others. "Oh, she's busier than I am. She must be way more important." Or, "Oh, when you get together, oh, how's your week been?" "Oh, so busy." "How's your week?" "Oh my gosh, so busy." We use it as like this measuring system when in reality, I would way rather hear someone say, "You know what? I had a really peaceful week that was full of fulfillment." It's like, I love that for you. That's so
I
much better,
never hear that. I would love to hear that more.
right?
Like, I had a beautiful weekend. It was amazing. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We don't hear that much as we really need to. We're kind of stuck in this negativity. And then,
Mhm.
like you're saying, with all the different products and stuff, there's not necessarily things we're doing, but things in our environment as well, where
Yeah.
we live. I'm looking around now. I'm like, what do I need to get rid of?
Oh, yeah, don't even get me started on purging. What a healing experience that could be.
Yeah, it's probably. I actually went down that a little bit. Started looking at certain things I'm buying, putting on my body, people I'm surrounding myself with, and just trying to figure out those little biohacks and just little things to see what can help me. But it's really hard because in the society we live in nowadays, pretty much everything that we have in our environment and put in our bodies is disrupting us. Like the chemicals, everything, from the pans, everything is just such a constant that you can't get away from it. It seems almost insane, makes you a little crazy.
Yeah, and it can
Like,
be
how do
really
you deal with
overwhelming.
that?
Yeah, it can be really
Yeah.
overwhelming. And so this is I mean, I'm what? I just turned 38, so I'm over a decade in. to this journey. And so I always tell people that to make this a sustainable way of living, you have to start small. We can't just, tear down our whole house and start from scratch. It's not feasible for most of us. I can't expect a woman to go into her bathroom and throw out everything that she has spent hundreds of dollars on. It's just making conscious choices when you have the choice to make. So when you've run out of a shampoo, let's say, with all your luscious hair, Justin, we're going to say, okay, how can you make a more aligned choice in this moment? It's just simple little switches as you go instead of taking it on all at once, because then you're never going to do it anyways because it's too overwhelming. When we
I've
get
done
stuck in
that.
overwhelm, yeah, as soon as we get stuck in overwhelm, we freeze and we always go back to what's comfortable. Whether it's
That's
good for us
so
or
true.
not, we're going to go back to what's comfortable and what's familiar. So small, anything you are doing in life, sustainability is so key.
I've been learning that. I was that person going in there, burning the entire house down, throwing everything out, like, oh, hell no. But then I'm like, wait, what have I done? And it became so overwhelming. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do nothing.
Mhm.
And like you said, just kind of learning those small little increments. I've been trying to do that more. And it is more sustainable. Just
Yeah.
kind of slowly do it because I like how you put that, the sustainability, that is key. Can we try and do everything all at once? And then just we go back, like you said, to what we were doing in the first place. And
Yeah.
it's crazy, but it's kind of that human nature that plays into that.
Yeah,
Like,
humans
oh
are
my
very
goodness.
designed to stay in their comfort zone, which is okay as long as your comfort zone is super healthy for you. And it's really important to expand. We always look at it as a target in my business that we do. It's a target system where your comfort zone's in the center. And then you picture the next ring as your growth zone. So that's when you're expanding out of your comfort zone a little bit. But what happens is the outer ring is the anxiety zone. If you're constantly taking
That's a
yourself,
huge
jumping,
ring.
it's a big ring, right? And we can expand our growth zone and stuff, but that takes time. We can lessen the anxiety zone, that takes time. But typically they're pretty like the anxiety zone's pretty big. And what we're doing all the time because we see something on Instagram or we see someone doing this
My
incredible
God.
thing that has an entirely different lifestyle than us. We're like, oh, I should quickly go do this. You're jumping from your comfort zone into the anxiety zone, and the only move is to go back into your comfort zone. You're skipping all the growth and things that are going to support you into expanding that into your comfort zone along the way. And so learning to leverage what's called the compound effect in anything you're doing. This can be that you're talking about changing things over in your home, but you can be, say you're trying to be on a fitness journey, or maybe you're trying to switch up your dietary things, or maybe you're just trying to build a business. Anything you are going to do, learning to leverage the compound effect, which is a small thing every day, it's like giving consistent 30% days are better than spotty 100% days. It's eating an apple every day instead of 7 on Sunday. That mentality is going to help you build actual success in whatever it is that you're looking to have success in.
Oh, I love that. The compounding effect. That really resonates. And it's like you said, it is sustainable a lot more.
Yeah,
Because
it
some
is.
of us just want to go overboard and like we want to get things done now and fast. We need it now, but we don't realize that in doing that, the foundation isn't built, the fundamentals aren't there, and that just kind of it just falls apart.
Definitely. It's a society thing now. We want quick fixes. We see people promising quick fixes and, oh, you can make $1 million in a week and all of these things. It's not real.
Right, there's more.
It might work for a couple minutes, but it's not going to integrate into your identity. When we don't integrate things into our
Ooh,
identity and give ourselves the time it takes to do so, it won't last. It'll be the shiny object syndrome until you instantly go back to what your identity is used to and what your identity is comfort to. It's like saying, "Oh, yeah, I could go to the gym for 7 hours on Sunday and get ripped." Well, no, but if you go for a half hour over 14 days, you might create a new habit and change your entire life.
that is so true. I love how you said that. I was talking to someone the other day, and she was like, "I gotta go to the gym for 6 hours on Saturdays, and that's it. And that yeah, the hell I want to the rest of the week." I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "Hey, here's a red flag here. That doesn't make any logical sense to me, but somehow it's working for them." Okay,
Yeah, and maybe that's where they've gotten their fitness level too. She might not have started
yeah.
there. So that's you're looking at someone's level 10 and you're looking to start at level 1. And that's where
Ooh,
we make
I love how you
mistakes is
put
in
that.
comparison.
Yes.
We will look at so say what episode are you on, Justin? How many episodes?
That's a good question. 37, give or take. something
Beautiful.
around there.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That's
Thank you.
amazing. A huge percentage of podcasters don't make it past 10, and then there's another that don't make it past 20, and then the next big barrier is 50. So you're coming up on that. So keep going.
50?
Yeah.
Well, I hate to tell you. No, I'm gonna keep going. I enjoyed this very much.
Right. So if you went, and so I work with Next Level University, Kevin and Alan have a daily podcast. They have a podcast every day, daily. And they each do an episode for their podcasting company and their business company as well. So they're doing anywhere from 8 to 9 episodes a week. If you were to compare your 34th episode to their, I think they're on like 2060, like they're in the
Falling
2000s.
apart.
So if you were to look at their episode now and compare, they've been doing this for 8 years. 8 years and they're in the 2000s on
Ooh,
their episodes. So if you were to go and say, okay, I'm going to compare my first podcast episode to their almost 3000, it's so detrimental. It's so
I'd fall to
detrimental.
the ground in convulsions.
That's
I
right.
wouldn't make it out the front door anymore.
That's right. But if you go back and you look at their first episode and compare it to yours, yours will probably be better because there is more podcasting. People are more aware now. They've intentionally built more of these skills, whereas these guys were winging it 8 years ago. So it's that. Where are you comparing to? And is it someone who
That
is
is so true.
genuinely in the same kind of lifestyle as you? Or is it someone who is in an entirely different lifestyle than you and is 20 steps ahead?
I always say that to people. You gotta be careful who and what you compare to. Like I
Mhm.
had to learn that. 'Cause you just said about the podcast. I was doing that first too. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my first episode. I'm not ready. I don't know what camera to use. I don't know what to wear. I know what I'm gonna talk about. Just freaking out in my head. I'm like, just start, just go. And then like I go from one a week to two a week and it's kind of building on that. Not nine a week yet, but that to me is like, holy, but you say again, 8 years in the making.
Years.
So if I by the time I get there, I'll probably be like, "Oh, I see that now. I
That's right.
get that." Or
Yeah.
building those skills to get there.
Yeah, and they had to take messy action.
It's just crazy because we just see things so differently how they are in society, but not how they actually are on paper or they actually play out in your real life, you
Yeah.
know?
And I think because of social media, we have such easy access to all sorts of different lifestyles, which is wonderful in its
We
own way.
do.
But it can also be very detrimental. So if I'm looking at a woman on her fitness journey, let's say, so I'm on a fitness journey myself right now, and I look at her and she's in her early 20s. She's in her early 20s and she lives in an apartment building downtown, but she has a gym in her buildings that she can just go. She can spend 3 hours there every morning. She doesn't have kids. She's single. She can just focus on her fitness.
Hell yeah.
And I'm looking at that going, but I suck. I can't do that. I suck. I suck so hard because I can't do that. So why should I even try? When in reality, I should be looking at other women who are also pushing 40, who live in the country. I don't even have a gym within a half hour of me, let alone in my
What?
basement. Yeah, oh yeah. So we have a home. We do everything from home and we do a lot of hiking and nature walks, all sorts of things. But I live on a dirt road out in the country. I do not have access to those kind of things, which is
That
on
sounds really
purpose.
fun though too.
It's the best. Not complaining at all. I would take my country life over living in the city. That's my personal preference for sure. But it's that. And I also homeschool my children. They're home with me every day. So I'm with them every morning. So I can't go spend 3 hours in the morning at the gym. So what if I find someone on Instagram, let's say, to be inspired by instead of compared to? Because now she's in her early phase. She also has kids. She does her workouts from home and she is fit. And I am inspired that I can probably get there myself too because she has a similar life to me.
I love how you put that. That's so powerful. We really forget about that, comparing to the right kind of people. I still find myself doing that all the time still. But I have to really bring myself back to my reality
Mhm.
and really focus, understand what I'm comparing to so much. You know, it takes time to build those skills, build your fitness, build a business, get things out of your house, just little things over time.
Yeah.
But like you were saying earlier about the Instagram and watching stuff, it's so true because I watch stuff so much, and then you're like, I could do this, I could do this, and just, but you're not there yet. It's just in
Yeah.
your head with it. And you're like, oh my gosh. Then we do nothing. I'm back to square one.
Yeah, because you don't know how typically. People aren't even showing you step 1. They're typically showing you step 25 and just assuming you know how to get there. Yes. So when people are trying to give advice, It's hard to give blanket statement advice because everyone is different. My favorite two pillars of any kind of success journey are self belief and self worth. So, whatever success means to you, whether it be fitness success, health success, monetary success, you will always meet the level of your self belief and self worth.
Love that. Damn, that's powerful.
Self belief is what you believe. Sorry, go ahead.
As I needed that someone to say that to me like
Mm.
a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Hope someone out there listening is like, oh my goodness.
These are powerful pillars that you need in anything you're trying to do, and they're simplistic things to build, but you need to do them consistently is the thing. The hard part is the consistency. The
I
frameworks around
agree.
building self-belief and self-worth are pretty simplistic, but it's those two. So self-belief is an external game. It's what I believe I am capable of externally. So let's use building a fire as an example. I believe I am capable of going and gathering the logs, making the fire, lighting the match, and tending to that flame. That is something I believe I can do externally. Now, self worth is an internal game. Self worth is who are you allowing to sit in the warmth of that fire that you have built? Who is coming in and dousing those flames? Are you taking care of the fire or did you just put in that first effort and let it go? Self
I feel like
worth
you're
is,
talking to me so strong right now.
oh, I love that. I'm
I
so
don't know
glad.
about this.
Worth. Actually, I love that we started with comparison because comparison is a
Yeah.
huge part of self-worth. You can use comparison to increase your self-worth by getting inspired and taking that action, or it can be detrimental to
I've
yourself.
gone down both of those roads. I feel that.
Yeah, if you're looking at someone on Instagram or say you love someone on YouTube and you're watching their 500th video and you're like, "Oh, I could never do that." Go back to their first video. Always go back to the beginning if you can, especially on the internet. There's a footprint somewhere. They're there in the beginning.
Keep
Go
digging. That's there.
that. Go back to the beginning and compare to that because that just showed you that that's where they started. They're going to be way more similar to you if you have a similar interest than you would ever expect. And it shows you that because they stayed consistent and they made it to those 500 videos, they became that person along the way. And it shows you that you have to do that journey too if you want to get there.
Damn, I feel that so hard because I tend to watch like all the stuff that comes out, but never go back and watch the stuff from the beginning. But at the same time, I know that I have to go on that journey and learn. But at the same time, I don't want to watch the beginning videos either. So I'm like, no, I can just keep skip ahead. But then I do that and things happen. I get these roadblocks. I'm like, oh shoot, I don't understand or get this now. I should have gone back to the beginning, like you said. I would have gotten that roadblock necessarily as hard in the first place.
And I mean, trust that you can skip a few steps by learning from them, by avoiding things that they got stuck up on. If they tell you, I got stuck up on this, don't do this, do this. Like that's awesome for people ahead of you for you to get poured into that way. But it's very hard for
That's how
people
we
to.
learn.
That's right. That's right. And it's how we can serve others too. It's, people who are ahead in their journey in whatever area you are looking to. Let's keep fitness going. If someone's ahead of me in fitness who has the similar lifestyle as me, and she says, "Hey, this is where I really got tripped up. Watch for this because if you're like me, it's going to come for you too." I can learn from that and I can probably go through that time shorter than she did. So we can learn from the people ahead of us and probably, get there shorter. Like everyone that Kevin and Alan help podcasting and business and things now, everyone is ahead of where they were when they started or when they were in that journey. But it's because they now have someone pouring into them on their journey that had already done it. So that's why I love coaching. I love mentorship. And if you can find someone to pour into, that's always a great idea if that's within your means. So, yeah.
I love how you said that was very powerful. Speaking of coaching and mentorship, along the point of your journey, when do you know or when do you know that you should reach out for someone else to help you or that you should keep learning on your own that you can do this yourself? At what point is it like, I should ask for help here? Because a lot of us don't usually do that. We don't know when to. We're just like, oh, I can carry this cross myself. Get out of my way.
Mhm.
So I'm
So that
curious.
that literally comes down to self-belief and self-worth. If you're struggling to ask for help, you either have delusional high self-belief, thinking you can do it yourself when you probably can't yet, or you have really low self-worth and you struggle to ask for that kind of support and help because deep down you don't feel you're worth it. So again, you're coming
I've
into
never
those
heard it
two
put.
caps. Yes, but I deeply believe in if someone is ahead of you and they can genuinely help shorten your journey and get you to success sooner because they can pour into you that way, I'm all for it. But I've never struggled to ask for help. So again, to someone who struggles to ask for help, it's a little bit of a different journey. We need to build up your self-worth a bit first to see that you're worthy of being
That's so
poured into
true.
that way. Right? So they can't give blanket statement things to everybody because they're going to hear it differently. If someone doesn't believe they're capable, so self belief is my belief in the capability of doing something. If I'm talking to someone like they have level 10 self belief, of course you can work out every day, go do the hour, all of these things. They're going to crash and burn and think that they are the problem. And it's just going to feed
Been
their
there.
narrative of, I am incapable of doing this. I knew it. I'm pouring into them wrong. So we do need to be able to assess this in people. If we're working with others, it's like our responsibility as a coach, as a mentor, as a therapist, anything like that, to know who we're speaking to because the language is different.
Oh, that's so true and powerful. I've worked with coaches where, like you said, they have just this cookie cutter kind of thing, and they don't. I've even tried trying to explain to them. Like, I'm on the spectrum, so I see and hear things differently, understand it differently. But I couldn't reach them to points where they understand that I'm not understanding, or what they're doing is not really working correctly, or I'm not right there. That
Mhm.
was kind of unfortunate. But then that also came with how you're saying, me understanding my self worth and that belief, and on that journey to kind of realize that person wasn't right for me. I need to find someone who is right for me. And also, I need to do the work too. That's the other
Always.
thing. Just
Yes.
can't do the work. I didn't get, for a while, I was like, oh, okay, I'm a coach. Cool. Okay, tell me what to do. But I didn't realize, like, wait, that's not how it works.
Love it. I mean, they
Like,
should
I
be
have,
able to give you step by step how to's, hopefully. But at the end of the day, they're
yeah,
not with you every second of every day, giving you that motivation. You need to build that yourself. And so that's where
yeah,
accountability really helps. If we struggle to stay consistent in things, having someone mentoring, guiding, coaching, however that works, is that accountability piece. I love that piece myself. It helps me stay motivated to be accountable to someone else. That really it like leverages my hero complex a little bit. Typically people with high but lower self-worth will do more for others than they will themselves. So I'm like leveraging that on purpose by having someone that I can touch in with and they're going to be like, "Did you do this thing? Cuz I'm going to need you to do that thing." And you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, I will." For you.
okay, you talked me into it.
Yeah, it is. It's really important to know who you're working with and for the person who's doing the coaching, who they're speaking to and how to speak to them. Building self-belief and self-worth is the biggest portion of what I do in my work because it is pillar in everything. Like I said, whether it be monetary and business, whether it be fitness, whether it be even family and marital. It all comes in. Those 2 come in just about everything. So understanding that
Yeah.
you're and what you believe you're capable of is always gonna go against what you believe you're worthy of. And they're always kinda doing this. So learning
Mine's
to
more
build
like this, but
Yes,
yeah.
lots of people's are. And it depends on the scenario too. Like you deep dive into well, it's very specific to the scenario. So I have a full competency and belief that I can come on your podcast and I believe I can leave knowing that I added value here. I have a very high belief in that. But when someone started telling me, okay, you're going to work out every day, I had like a level 2 belief. I was like, you don't know me. I struggle. That's going to be so hard.
You speak to me, how dare you?
Right. So that was different. I had really low belief in that area and it had to be built. And the way we build self belief, I will make sure that I leave you all with this, is the
Yes.
way we build self belief is there's just a 3-step system. It's state, prove, self assign. That's right. Take those notes. So step 1 is
State
state.
true.
Say that you're going to do the thing. So I said, let's use something as mundane as laundry because the wins are in the mundane every day. I know we love to have these grand things that's the only time we allow things to come into our identity or to be celebrated. But all of this happens in the day to day. Remember the compound effect we talked about, those 1 apple each day instead of 7. And so
That's gonna stick with me.
we're going to do laundry. So I say I'm going to do laundry. That's the state. Sometime in the afternoon, I prove that I can get it done. I did the laundry. Now I need to have a moment where I build it into my identity and said, hey, I did the thing I said I was going to do. Yay me. It's a self celebration, a self acknowledgement moment that you did the thing. And I use laundry on purpose because so many of us are like, oh, I shouldn't celebrate that. That's just something I should be doing because it's a part of the household. But at the end of the day, it's still a really important thing that you do for your family, for yourself. That's a really important task. And so if you're doing stuff like that regularly, you're missing out on the piece that could be building your self-belief on these little mundane things.
Never thought of it that way. I make my bed every day, and I'm like, now I'm
Yeah.
thinking about that. It's a small little thing.
Perfect example. Perfect example. Hey, I made my bed today. I am the man. Like that's it. That's all it has to be. Just like that. Yes. That's gonna build your belief in the competency you have in the external world. Now, we all have little things in us. Sometimes there's the overthinker. So if you're an overthinker, you're gonna get stuck in state. You're gonna overthink the state part. I'm going to do this thing, and you're gonna struggle to take action because you're thinking about how perfect it needs to be or how
I
much.
feel that really hard.
Yeah.
Stop yelling at me.
You know what? I do this because I love you, Justin. It's for your own good. Perfectionists bleed into the prove. Perfectionists struggle to take action because they never feel like it's gonna be good enough, so why do it anyways? They hide behind their perfectionism of, "Well, I just can't do it yet because it needs to be like this." Perfectionists really need to embrace messy action. Progress over perfection always, and I used to live there, so that has helped me so much to see that if I can do something messily every day, it's gonna be better than me waiting to do it perfectly in a month. Always. Always, always, and I've seen proof of that in my own life that now I'm obsessed with that, with everything that I have done. I would rather do something messily just to check the box each day than to do it perfectly every once in a while, knowing that it's never gonna get me to the results that I want.
Get it done if you're trying to do it perfectly.
That's
It's like
right.
a never ending battle to like the top of a deep black hole
Mhm. Definitely.
or the
And then
bottom.
the celebration part. There's 2 types of people that struggle with the self-assign and the celebration part. So let's say I've said I'm gonna do the laundry. I did the laundry, but before I can self-assign and celebrate, I'm gonna be like, I should have done more. I should have folded it. I should have separated the whites and the colors better. I should. I've been shoulding all over myself.
My head from last Sunday.
That's
Girl.
where a lot of us live in the heart-driven space, which is typically podcasters and things looking to add value. We struggle to give ourselves credit because we know we could do more. We know we could do better. We're constantly comparing to our potential, which we have to be really careful of because we won't reach our
Yeah.
potential. We won't reach that potential if we are not doing these things. So we have to give ourselves permission to give ourselves that celebration moment in the day-to-day things. And then there's the last person who struggles with that self-assign is, let's say they said they were gonna do laundry, they did the laundry, and then they celebrate so hard that instead of continuing it as a cycle, they never do it again because they're like, "I'm the best. I did the laundry, I never have to do it again. I'm the best." So
Wait,
again,
I have
no
to do it
right or
again?
wrong. There's no right or wrong here. Knowing about yourself and how you react to certain situations is a superpower. Without judgment, with just acceptance, with now I'm going to run this thing instead of it running me unconsciously. So no right or wrong, but of those 3, if you're listening, state, prove, self-assign, which one do you struggle with the most? And how can you start supporting yourself so you can do those 3 things every day? And I say these little mundane things on purpose because your brain is gonna fight you so hard on, "I shouldn't celebrate for that. I shouldn't state, prove, and self-assign that little thing." Do it. It's gonna help build your
That's so
self-belief,
powerful.
and you're gonna become a
I
more
feel
competent
that.
human.
I resonate with that so hard. I'm on that journey too, you know?
Yeah,
That's kind of
self-belief
like
is
doing this
so important.
podcast. Like, it kind of is outlining my journey of just talking with everyone and figuring these things out in life and helping other people hopefully figure them out also.
Mhm. Yeah, it's beautiful
Yeah,
work.
that laundry though, you got me there. I don't want to touch my laundry anymore now. I'm like, I'll be thinking about it differently, but for in a good way though.
In a good
You
way.
know, thank you for those little nuggets. That's
Mhm.
very powerful. I have to go back and rewatch this a few times now.
I love that. That means the world to me. Thank you.
Yes, I actually love doing that too. Just first time you go through these and having a conversation that you're present, but you're not completely there. 'Cause you're like you're listening and going back and forth. When you go back and watch it again, then you can really take in more of the information. And I feel like a lot of times people we watch things and do things once, like you were saying, and that's it. But you gotta do it at least once or twice. Like we read a book. Do the laundry more than one time. Watch the podcast more than once. Really get it down. You can't usually learn by doing things just one time. I know I can't. I
You
gotta
know,
watch and redo it at least a few times.
I think that's true of everyone. Even if you have a book, let's say, that changed your life because it had something in it that you really needed
Mhm.
to hear in that moment, you go back a year later and you read that book, you're gonna see something entirely different. Now, the book hasn't changed, but you have, and what you need to hear
I
and
feel
what
like
your
it
brain
did.
is gonna remember is important. So, I mean, I teach these fundamentals to the same people over and over again because it's relevant all the time. It's just, okay, what level are we at? What's the next state for you to build your self belief to the next level? It's the same principle, but now we're just going to address it into your individual life and keep that trend upward.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I'm learning that myself right now. I go back and read the book. I'm like, wait a second, this was not written here before. Someone changed this book on me. Like, what in the Sam Hain is going on here? But
Yeah,
it's just
no,
my mind playing tricks on me,
you're
trying to
just
tell me
different.
things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on here, Amy, and talking with us today. It's been absolutely amazing with you.
Thank you, Justin. I feel the same. You're a great host.
Thank you. Before we leave, is there anything else you would like to let our audience know and how they can reach out to you as well?
Nothing in particular. I mean, if anyone is interested in self-belief, self-worth, and learning about any of that, I'm always an open book. You can send me a message on, I believe you have my Instagram or my Facebook. I'm always happy to answer messages and help any way I can.
Awesome. I'll definitely put those down in the show notes. And before we go, the question that I've never asked you before, and you've never heard this in your entire life, what does it mean to you to be a human being?
That's a really tough question, isn't it? And I'm sure people
30
come up with
seconds.
all sorts of different
Just kidding.
answers. It's
Yeah.
I think it's experience. I think it's experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, and learning to become a better human through those experiences, not just the good ones, but the hard ones as well. I deeply believe it's experience and growing through that experience to become the human you want to be at the end.
Ooh, I love that. That's a beautiful answer. Thank you so much. But I like that because a lot of people forget that the hard times and the growth comes in the hard times. The growth comes in the mistakes. You know, people like I'm learning that myself more.
Yeah,
Like I'm a human being. That's why I like asking that question. That kind of helps me learn, understand about not only you, but help to kind of put that into my mind, really think about it more clearly too. Help me be a better human being. There's so many ways to be a human being.
I
You know, not
agree.
just how I think about it, but how everyone else thinks about it as well.
And I
So
deeply
yes,
believe that if everyone embraced what they believed made them a good human, the world itself would just be a better place because everyone's trying to just live up to their own unique potential.
right. I like how you said that because someone said to me recently, I asked them that question. They're like, well, the issue is that you're the main character in your life, in your story, but everyone else is trying to be a main character in your story as well, but they just to be the main character in their story only. So there's something like that. I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but I
Yeah.
understood that. Like, be the main character in your story. Don't worry about everyone else's story. You may be
Yeah.
a part of it, you may not be.
Yeah, it's that whole verbiage of if everyone swept their own porch, the world would be clean instead of worrying about what's on their neighbor's porch.
Ooh. Okay, that was better said. I like that. We'll go with that one. Well, thank you so much again, Amy, for coming on here. I really appreciate your time. I'd love to have you back on here again to do even more of a deep dive. It's been an awesome
Anytime.
conversation.
Anytime, Justin. And I
Yes.
don't say that to just anybody. So I deeply believe you're a very aligned host for me. So thank you so much. Yeah, if you want to do a deep dive, we could go deeper into self worth and that framework next time.
Yes, I would love to do that. Yeah, stay tuned, everyone. Part two is coming soon.
Anytime, Justin. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.